Hello and welcome to this free mandolin lesson. This is part 2 of learning Nessun Dorma. In part 1 we just learned the melody and added some tremolo, had a little play along with some piano accompaniment, and in this video we're going to make the arrangement more difficult. We're going to add some sort of self-accompaniment, we'll add the chords to the melody and try and keep the tremolo going at the same time, and that should hopefully sound a bit like this. All the tab and music is included in a free PDF which is linked in the video description below, so you're not having to try and work this out by ear as I play it. So I'm going to assume you can already play the melody for this. If you haven't, please loop back to part 1, which is linked everywhere in the description, hopefully up here at some point. So we're just going to dive in with adding our complicated arrangement. I need to tell you about one chord before we do. We need to learn the B-flat augmented chord, which, if you're looking at the music, is the whole A part. It just switches between G to B-flat augmented. If you've never come across an augmented, it's not massively difficult. The augmented is about the 5th step of the arpeggio. So an arpeggio is a root, 3rd and 5th, and the augmented is dealing with the 5th. And it means we augment it or sharpen it by 1 semitone. So we have a root, a 3rd, and a sharp 5. So if we took a simple chord like C, E, and G, a C augmented would sharpen that C, E, G, so we'd sharpen the G. We get that sound. It's almost like a dream. It's like a dreamlike chord, and it always feels like it wants to resolve somewhere. It's kind of chord of mystery, shall we say. So in this song we need B-flat augmented. B-flat is B-flat, D and F. So B-flat, D and F sharp gives us our B-flat augmented. Now on the mandolin, the augmented shape is a rather neat, so for B-flat augmented it would be 3, 4, 5, 6. Each finger gets one job. So for a lot of this song we won't need the pinky finger because the melody stops on the A string, so a lot of the time you're going to see 3, 4, 5. There's also other versions, obviously if your melody's down here we've got a D here, so yeah, that's a B-flat augmented. Okay, we can start adding some chords to our melody. So as soon as you see a slow melody, and especially one that's on the A string, you should immediately start thinking, can I add some chords underneath it? And the answer to this tune is very much yes. So if you've got your melody D, I've just shown you what the augmented chord is. So why can't we just go... So we get B-flat augmented that resolves to G. And then... sometimes you can only add one note. If the melody goes to a D, we can only add a note underneath. So that little violin part there includes a little position shift with your index finger 5, 7, 10, 5, 7, 10. Back to B-flat augmented to a G. Another B-flat augmented. B-flat augmented. So maybe just pause me and have a little play through that, get used to... It's quite a neat resolution going between B-flat augmented and G. You just take 2 fingers off. So now you know. When we hit our B part, the melody, the sort of main hook, the chords become a bit more regular. So we've got D, so we can start adding in some open strings. To a G, and then it steps down to E minor, so it's sort of G, F sharp, E, and then this phrase, E, A, E7, A. So I really like phrases like that where we can get 3 chords in a row. So you might just have to pause me again and practice that. So A, E7, back to an A. And if you think about the bass line there, That's the bass line we've got. So it's like an A, E7 over B, A over C sharp. And then to a D. E minor 9. So that's the tricky one. E minor is 2 and 2, and then the 9 is the F sharp. So 2, 2, 2 gives you an E minor 9. Back to a D. To a G, and then we're back to the G to B flat augmented. So I'll just have one play with a metronome on of that B part so you can try and keep up. 3, 4. F sharp, E, A, E7 over E, A over C sharp, D, 2, 3, E minor 9, 2, 3, D, 2, 3, 2, 3. The C part is a reprise of the A part, so we're back to B flat augmented, G, B flat augmented, G, just 3 changes. The D part, almost identical. Still got that E minor 9. A few more notes here. And then we skip ahead to the final section, the E. So we've got a full G chord, nice and easy. Different shape of G. And then a reprise of the B part. And then our A, E7 over B, A over C sharp. And then just a D to finish. So you can see with that, with a little bit of chord knowledge, you can very quickly make just a one-note melody into a sort of self-accompaniment. And it's all a case of, there's a lot of experimentation, a lot of like putting things in, deleting what you don't like. It takes a few minutes to get to sort of settle on an arrangement, but just seeing where you can add the chords, see if you can get some nice little movement between 3 chords in a row. So I hope you like it. There's still another step we can do to this melody, and we can add some tremolo. Now it's really hard to, first of all, it's hard to tremolo 1 note, it's really hard to tremolo 2, almost impossible to have a nice 3-note tremolo. So there is a middle ground, which is where we can keep our chords, but also keep our Italian tremolo. And it's very hard to notate on music, but it's quite easy to show. So imagine we have our very first, note 1 of the piece, so that's 0, 0, 5. There's nothing stopping us playing 0, 0, 5 and then tremolo in the 5. So you play the chord and then tremolo the high note. This works best right down at the end at the E section, so you full strum and then. Now there's nothing stopping you tremoloing 2 notes. Or all 4 if you really want. It just gets a bit much. So yeah, that's a really neat way of keeping tremolo but keeping our self-accompaniment. The only thing left to do is have a full playthrough. I'm going to keep the metronome at 65 BPM because we're not trying to play this tune quick. It's an aria, which is a slow piece of music, so no rush to speed this up. We can focus on tone, tremolo quality, note quality. You can just take a moment to make sure everything's as clean as it possibly can be. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Three, 4. section. So there you have what I would guess is somewhere between an intermediate and advanced arrangement of Nessun Dorma, where you add some self-accompaniment. I hope that the theory behind that has inspired you. You know, you can take that idea of chords under a melody, apply it to anything, fiddle tunes, anything like that. So hope you got something out of this lesson, a nice arrangement or some ideas for other arrangements. We do these free lessons every month. Please hit like and subscribe while you're here, or head over to mandomike.com for all the other free lessons we've done, and we'll see you next month.